Hi, I missed you. How you guys doing? Welcome to the video. Um, I'm a little tighter on here than usual because behind me, right behind me and all around me are Christmas presents that I have to um, wrap. And traditionally my office is the hiding place for all the Christmas presents. Don't tell anybody. I wanted to apologize for it being so long since the last video. Let me kind of tell you what's been going on a little bit. My son is living with me now. He was in a car accident last year and doesn't have a car currently. It's hopefully at some point he's suing the alcoholic scumbag that plowed into him from behind at a red light, and he'll be hopefully getting some compensation for that. But in the meantime, he doesn't have a car, so I have been driving him around. Circumstances necessitated him coming back to live here. So yeah, so it's a jolly little house. I mean, I'm happy he's here. He works a full-time job and then some, so I'm having to drive him back and forth quite a bit, and that's kind of cutting into writing time and recording time and Patreon time. I'm doing like a short story a month for Patreon, and I got the November one done last week. so I mean, plus this time of year, with the holidays and everything else, everybody's running around scrambling. All my Patreon people have been awesome about it, and you guys have been awesome. I really enjoy talking with you. I enjoy putting out new content, and apologize for being so long. Hopefully, as we kind of clear out of the holidays and into the new year, we'll be able to talk more. I'd like that a lot. And thank you guys for supporting the channel. Please keep doing that. If you've seen one of my videos that you think someone else would like, share it with them. I appreciate that more than I can tell you. I have some very exciting work-related news. I cannot give you a lot. I gotta have to vague it up quite a bit. Basically, I got some good news this last week. Very exciting news. That I will share with you guys as soon as I'm able to. But right now we're in the process of making things happen. Things haven't been signed or signed off on yet. So cross your fingers, and hopefully I will be giving you some really great news here in the next few weeks. I'll let you know. Maybe it'll be my New Year's present. Who knows? But the novel is going along well. It is proceeding apace, as they like to say. I have not had a lot of time to work on it for all the aforementioned reasons. Grandbaby update. Grandbaby's doing great. She is so freaking smart, and she is trying to talk, and she is super aware of her surroundings, and I'll try to share more with Grandbaby as we get through the holidays. But I just saw her last night. She looked beautiful. My daughter looks beautiful and very happy. My future son-in-law looks very happy, and he's very tall. He's a tall man, very tall. Of course, to me, a lot of people are tall. Both my kids already kind of tower over me. I got my mom's height, and I think they got my dad's. So, but anyways, what I wanted to kind of talk about briefly is we were having a Patreon discussion a month ago or 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it was with my we do 2 different writers things in Patreon. One is a writer's workshop, which is working towards getting you published, and it's basically taking you from the idea for your story or role-playing module or short fiction or whatever it is you want to be writing, taking you from the idea of that through the final processes of editing and finally sending it out into the universe. So that's one thing we do. The other thing is a writer's chat that we do once a month, which is basically like, hey, what are you working on right now? What's What problems are you running into? What exciting things have you discovered? It's really just more of like a bitch session for people who are writing. And it's also for folks who are kind of, interested in how do I get started writing. So it's an ongoing conversation, and it's a lot of fun. But we were in there talking about that, and we got talking about openings, how important openings are. And a lot of writers who are super famous and super successful work long and hard on their openings. They want them to be spectacular. They want them to be grabbing. And sometimes they might work on them for months or even years for a story. So your opening is very important. And we got to talking about that. And I looked something up, and this article came up, and I decided I was going to share it with you. I'm not super familiar with the author, but we can find out more about her together. That'll be fun. But there's an article on openings, and I was going to share that with you right now. This is Jodie Renner. I believe she is from British Columbia, and Jodie is well, let's just read her bio, shall we? About Jodie Renner and her books. Jodie Renner is a sought-after freelance fiction editor and award-winning author of 3 craft of writing guides, all available in ebook and trade paperback on Amazon. One of them is Fire Up Your Fiction. The other one is Captivate Your Readers. And the third one is Writing a Killer Thriller. She's also got, let's see, a well-known blogger, and her craft of writing articles and other resources for writers appear on various blogs, including 2 group blogs, the award-winning Kill Zone and Crime Fiction Collective, as well as guest spots on Fiction University's Ann Allen's blog, The Thrill Begins, Blood Red Pencil, D.P. Lyle's Writers Forensics blog, and other blogs. So I got to admit, some of the blogs she writes on sound interesting. I'm all about D.P. Lyle's Writers Forensic blog. That sounds hot. Anyways, she presents workshops on the craft of writing and at writers' conferences and to writers' groups across North America for years. She has also served as judge for various book awards, including several times for Writers' Digest contests. And that's pretty much Jodie. That's Jodie in a nutshell. So Jodie's advice: 12 do's and don'ts for riveting openings to your story. And we're just going to kind of jump through some of these here. One is, don't begin with a long description of the setting or with detailed background information. And what I want you to do is basically, we're going to go through these. You give me your thoughts and your feedback. Because in the writer's chat, when we were discussing these, some of them we agreed with, and others people were like, oh, hell no. So, everybody writes a different way. Everybody has a different voice when they're writing. But let's see what Jodie has to say here. 1, don't begin with long descriptions of the setting or the detailed background information on your characters. Do begin with meaningful, interesting dialogue and interactions with some tension. Don't start with a character other than your protagonist. Do introduce your novel's main character right in the first paragraph. Don't start with a description of past events. Do jump right in with what the lead character is involved in right now, with some tension and an aspiration, goal, or some conflict. Don't start in a viewpoint other than the main characters. Do start telling the story from your protagonist's point of view. It's best to stay in this viewpoint of the hero-heroine for the whole first chapter. Don't present your protagonist in a static, neutral, boring situation. Do develop your main character quickly by putting her in a bit of hot water and showing how she reacts to the situation. Something interesting was one of the folks who's in the Patreon, one of my Patreon patrons, and she's in the Writer's Workshop. She was talking about how she had because I was really encouraging of them to kind of like just write, get your first draft, and then we can edit it, which is do as I say, not as I do, because all the fucking time I will hit some point and I'll go, no, I need to go back and fix this. And I'll go back and fix it, which I know you're not supposed to do, but I do it. But she had opened her story with a lot of kind of like boring, tedious, slice of life kind of stuff. And sometimes slice of life can be very good for establishing character, but a lot of the details of getting up in the morning, you really can skip or just skip over or try to kind of encapsulate a lot of that stuff in a sentence. So that was one of the things that the number 5 here kind of hit on was, don't start in a static, neutral, boring situation. Don't start with your character all alone reflecting on his life. Do have more than one character, to his best, interacting with actions and dialogue. That's much more compelling than reading the thoughts or musings of one person. Don't start with your protagonist planning a trip or traveling somewhere. In other words, as a lead up to an important scene. Do start in media res, which is basically in the middle of the action. Jump right into the middle of the action. Present her in a meaningful scene. Just as far as that goes, I've used that a lot, the in media res, and it is very effective, but it sometimes can come back to bite you. Sometimes it's not the best way to go. It really depends on what you're working on. And again, it depends on your personal style, personal taste. Don't introduce a lot of characters in the first few pages. All right, well, I'm really awful about introducing a ton of characters through the whole book. Not usually all at once, but I do tend to have ensemble casts. And I've had some of my readers say that it's kind of hard to keep track of everybody, and that's a fair call. Do limit the number of characters you introduce in the first few pages to 3 or less. Don't spend too long reading up to the main conflict or problem the protagonist faces. Do introduce the main dilemma, or at least some significant tension within the first chapters. Don't leave the reader wondering what the character looks like. Now and her do provide a brief description of each character as they're introduced, so the readers can form a picture of him or her in their minds. Don't get too carried away. I have had people who have told me that they prefer to form up their own kind of image of the character, that you kind of build that in your mind by what they say and what they do, how they act, and they don't want a really detailed description. Other people love a detailed description because it gives them visual cues that they can kind of put hooks into that help them to kind of see things through that character and kind of see how that character is interacting. So it's really, and the level of detail. I have a friend of mine, he's passed away now, but he was a very dear friend of mine. And he actually shows up in one of the Golgotha books. There's a crime boss in Golgotha. Is it Iron Guts or something? It's Bruce Iron Guts Mitchell, I think is his name. And Bruce was a real guy. He was a wonderful guy. He was a great guy. But Bruce used to give me crap all the time because I could tell it's one of your books because you described their hair. It's like, fuck you. But it's true, so different people describe to a different level. Sometimes I think I go a little overboard. In some of the stuff I've been working on lately, I've tried to do less of that. But then I got a lot of people who love the descriptions because they can see that person, just like a photograph. So again, we're going to listen to what Jodie has to say here, but you can form your own opinions on it. Let's see here. Where were we? Oh yeah, that was 10. Okay. 11. Don't have the main character looking in the mirror as a device for describing him or her. This has been overdone. I have to say that, yeah, I've read a lot of shit where I got out of bed and looked in the mirror. My stunning blue eyes looked back at me. Yeah, no, just no, don't do that. Do work in the description in a more natural way by relating it to his or her actions or interactions with others. Don't wait too long to introduce the hero in a romance or romantic suspense. do introduce the love interest by the end of chapter 1 to spark reader interest. I am seriously considering trying to write a romance. I have romance in my books. It's usually kind of fucked up romance, but hey, what isn't? But yeah, it's funny. Basically, you don't confuse your reader as to who she's gonna, who he or she is gonna hook up with, I guess is what she's trying to say here. I don't. And this is the International Sign Language for hookup. This right here. Hey. All right, so that's Jodie's 12 do's or don'ts for a riveting opening to your story. Yes, yours, you, right there. What do you think? I gotta say, I agree with some, disagree with others. But when we came across this article, and I saw that lovely smiling face right there, I knew I had to share this with you guys. So, tell me what you think in the comments. Golgotha, 4th book, Ghost Dance Judgment. It is out. It has been getting good reviews. Been getting a lot of good feedback on it. People seem to like this one. Everyone's favorite, including, I'll be honest, my favorite in the series is probably Shotgun Arcana, the second one. A lot of people are saying that this is now their favorite in the series. So a lot of people are enjoying it. If you're into the Golgotha series or you're into weird Westerns in general, check it out. The Ghost Dance Judgment by R.S. Belcher. It is on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble. Go get it, go get it, go get it. Patreon. I have a Patreon page. Please, if you're interested in doing some more fun stuff, like we do D&D, we do tabletop gaming, we do book club, we do currently we're reading KJ Parker's The Company, and we've got a whole bunch of other books online to talk about. We do the Writer's Workshop, which is something I had wanted to do in person for a long time, and thanks to the beer bug that we will not mention, this seemed like a really good way of kind of getting that out there without, actually trying to go out and do it in person, which is really, problematic right now. So I love that word, problematic. Anyways, I hope everyone has a sensational holiday season. Hope you get to spend time with the people that you love, even if you're not like in person with those people. Just reach out to them, a message, a video call, FaceTime. Things mean a lot. I'm very thankful for, in a strange way, I'm thankful for this past year. I'm thankful for the year to come. I'm thankful for my family and my beautiful little grandbaby and my amazing children. And I'm thankful for all of the good, wonderful people I have in my life. And I'm very, very thankful for all of you guys. Even if we've never met, thank you for reading my books. Thank you for hanging out with me on the YouTube channel, and for being a part of my life, being a part of my family. And thank you for that. And I hope everybody has a great December. Hope you have a great new year. And hopefully I'll be on before then. But it's been like a month, I think, since I did the last one of these. So I want to just get all this in now in case I'm not back on in for a while. But I will be back on. I'm really going to try, because I really enjoy doing these things, and it's a lot of fun for me, and hopefully it's a lot of fun for you. And I hope maybe in with all that fun, maybe you just learned something too. Maybe. All right. Well, I am going to, with that, I'm going to say adieu, and I will catch you guys on the next video. I will post the links to Jodie's article down below, and I will also post the links to Patreon and to Ghost Dance Judgment. Thanks a lot, guys. Have a terrific month. Catch you on the next video. Bye.